Singh Gill with us. So, very warm welcome to you. How do you feel?
Thank you very much. Very excited.
Very
Good.
good. So good to see you smile, sir. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have we have Chef Manjeet Gill with us. So, I would like to give a little introduction about him. He is the president of Indian Federation of Chef Association and former corporate chef of ITC Hotels. He donor deal with policies of government, and he'll be talking about cooking of organic vegetables. So over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. This we what I believe is that people, the chefs, can carry this all the sciences of the food which are under discovery and under many, but as a very simple and a common subject to the people, all the scientific things, without using the scientific jargons and all those kind of things. And I think it's a more simple and more understandable with common sense and with little intelligence. It can be communicated to the people, which they apply the things into their everyday system of cooking, so that their food, their regular food, becomes more healthier as a practice than choosing the things, like, with the calories and with proteins and with that. I don't know even myself, after spending so much of time in cooking, that how much, they easy to apply into the cooking. That after making the dish, how much protein is there and carbohydrates are there and all that. It's all mathematics. But cooking is done more with happiness, and cooking is done more with mind than the calculations of the mathematics, and that is much more beneficial to the body and the mind and soul. That's what my belief, and I believe all the science. I thought I am myself a science student, but I believe the science, but to the people one has to reach in a very simple communication. And no doubt, I'm a believer of the Ayurveda very, very strongly, and day by day, more deeper understanding is happening, and more belief is also, coming into that. Like, it's a very beautiful subject in the Ayurveda, is incompatible of food, which is now in the new nutrition also it is coming with a different term, antagonistic food or something like that. And it's a very clear, there are 18 virodhas are written, which are incompatible, to the, when we talk about the food for nutrition and the health. And the first one is Kal Virodha. Kal Virodha means it should be seasonal. If it is against the season, it is not good. Very simple. And these things are written thousands of years back. It's not a new science for us. And there is the second one is the Desh Virodha. Means if it is not local. It is coming from the other region, other Desh, other from far away, things coming, they are not compatible to your body. They are not nutritious. There are very simple things like that. There are 17, 18 virodhas are written, and we want to understand that. And if you practice that, your food becomes nutritional, healthful, very sumptuous, and tasty. No doubt that the organic market is growing, and it should grow, and people are definitely understanding this much more. Its availability has become much easier all over the India and all over the world. There are fantastic stores. There are good labels. You can trust many labels in that, because it's all matter of trust. Whether it is, now there are some farmers, they are beyond going to the organic thing, which they call it biodynamic farming. So they don't have the certification, but it is all trust. Certification is also a trust, and without certification is also a trust. It depends to whom you deal with or whom you go to buy the produce. And no doubt there is a complexity is also increasing, more and more knowledge people are getting, more and more understanding people are getting, and with that the more questions are raising, and that gap is there a lot. I think these kind of webinars and seminars should be every week, it is so much need is required for people to understand, that what is organic and how they can, use into their system. And there are a lot of farmers, they are working on the, like I said, the biodynamic, which is more sustainable farming, and which is even, according to me, I will prefer that much more than just as an organic certification. Nutrition and health, it is found a lot of research has come, and they have every day the whole world is doing research on that. It's a big, very big concern for the human being, and it is found that the nutrient percentage 25-30% is higher in the organic side than the inorganic, and even the vitamin C, which is the buzz, vitamin these days the most prime because of humidity, and the corona has made people aware about the immunity. It has to be strong, and it's found that the immunity is also vitamin C. Also, they are much more in higher, and even the compounds of antioxidant and all that. So it is found, it's true that the organic foods or the naturally grown food or the old method of agriculture is much more uh, helpful or much more nutritional. And even in many of the tomatoes, the kiwis, a lot of things are found which has much more nutrition in natural form. And in the at the market, and the most important is that one has to understand that should not be in the mind that it's expensive. But even from the organic sector also, the people who the business in organic sector, they also have to work that how to make this more affordable. It should not be in the mind that maybe it's expensive and we cannot afford. But it is might be a little expensive on the face to face when we buy the things, but if we use it right cooking and if we do the fresh cooking and in the right way, we might find it is not that expensive. But anything which is good, you have to pay something for that. So it is not very expensive, but it could be made more affordable as the complete business people who are concerned, if they work on that, it is possible. You can, to accept into your system, you can always prioritize your purchase. It says slowly you have to turn into the organic and cooking of organic, not one day decide that tomorrow everything will be organic. That you will create a problem for you. So step by step, slowly, get into that, and you will find that one day you will feel that it is within the budget. It's possible to do it. And one is to understand the cooking is very, very important to understand the cookery, and one is to do their own little bit of efforts in cooking also. One can take the convenient food or the food which make you little cooking inconvenient, but more ready to cook than ready to eat. Because when you ready to cook, take or you cook food, at every step you control the taste of the food, the ingredients in that you put with the mind. You put your mind into that, not you just eat what you get, as ready made. So you cook yourself is the most. So think when you purchase even the organic food, think local and seasonal, as I said before, which is the first two guidelines given to us by Ayurveda. And you must think that you will always find that the local and the seasonal vegetables are much more cheaper. They are better in color, they are better in texture, they are better in taste, they are easy to cook, and they need less ingredients to cook to make the food tasty. You might have to put little less fat into the seasonal food than the same product which is non-seasonal, and still it is not good to taste. So one has to understand the cookery. The simple things about cookery, no need to understand very complicated cookery, is very simple. And no need to buy, like at this moment, no need to buy the organic version of seafood immediately or to start with. Most of the food still is all right, and there are not much standards are written also about the seafood. So one can still carry on and do the maybe prioritize that purchase, and the things which you use very often, which you use, mostly you use those ingredients as your diet, you can start with one or two, you buy the organic, rest you buy the other things, and slowly you convert yourself to the organic side. And then the shop from the right shops, better if you are accessible and is possible, maybe once a week you can go to the some farmers market or some have a good friendship with the farmers and go to them and buy the things. It's a good getaway also, and even if you take children, they also get very excited when they see the nature and the natural plants, and their exposures are even much more, and they will also adapt the healthy eating, and they'll understand the food much more better. You can trust the private labels, which are good. Like in India, we can definitely trust like Amul, like Viveka or the local. They are very good large companies which we can believe that their labels are trusted. Um, and it is like in these some products of some of the restaurants, they say they have the organic restaurant. Even the 70% organic food, still you can call it organic food, and 30% maybe few other things which you are not getting the organic and you're using, but still you can try on and do on. Now cooking, as far as cooking is concerned, this is to before cooking. Now cooking is no difference than inorganic and organic. But in organic, the cooking will be, you will definitely need uh, less fats to make it tasty than the inorganic one. You will always see that. And the in a organic thing, I prefer and I suggest that do the seasoning at the end, particularly the salt, because let the natural salts of the vegetables get into the gravy or get into the dish, and then finally you taste it, then accordingly you add the salt. If you add before, it is tend to be always added the higher salt, because you very difficult to imagine how much shrinkage will happen, what will be the last yield of the dish, and but you add the salt in it, maybe higher. At the end, you can see the food, you can see the dish, you can see the quantity, and then accordingly, with your state of mind and your for whom you are making, you add the little salt if you need. So better to add at the end of that. It doesn't make much difference that if you put before, it will be more salty and better and all that. No, there's no difference in that. So cooking, in the like, I'll request, the people must throw out the peelers from their home. You don't need peeler. You have to scrape the vegetables. It is always better. It is much more high in vitamins also and all that if you don't. Otherwise, by peeling the thick skin, you peel and you throw a lot of nutrition out. So it's better to scrape them. In the olden system, used to be scraping the vegetables lightly with a knife, and just wash it and cut it. And but do this practice of scraping and cutting of vegetables and all that as closer to the cooking. After doing that, they should straight go to the pot for cooking, whichever pot we are using. Don't keep them, because a lot of things, nutrients like vitamins and all, get oxidized also. So it is better to go, whatever happened, it should happen in the pot. So do as closer to the cooking is much better. And for the spices, or one my suggestion is that never put the empty pot on the heat, and then you start looking for where the oil is, where the ghee is, where the other spices are. By the time the empty pot, the metal get very hot. As you put the fat in it, it get burned. It becomes rancid. It's not good. You put spices, they get burned. They give you the bad taste. They will not give you the fragrance at all because it's all burned. So it is better to practice. You put the medium of cooking first, or whether it's a water or whatever it is, and then put the pot on the heat. Don't put pot on the heat empty. And then put the fat or whatever, and always do cooking other than boiling the water, do cooking on low heat, so that the things don't burn, they gradually heat, and then and you can gradually, slowly, you will find that you can start feeling the fragrance also. Because if they burn immediately, you will not be able to see the and feel the fragrance, the aroma, the beautiful aroma and the taste of the spices. You put that, and then you put vegetables or whatever you want to put and cook it. But cooking must happen only at the time of boiling. Increase the heat, otherwise keep it low as low possible. It is the food will be much more tastier. Uh, these are a few things I thought I'll quickly share with you. And any questions you have, anything you can ask me. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah?
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Hello.
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
All right. So, sir, first of all, it was very interesting to hear you. As you said that we cook by heart, and cooking is not a thing of maths. There's no calculation. So I really like that thought. It's lovely. I just want to know one thing. When we talk about cooking and when we talk about organic food, so you understand, you have worked as a corporate chef. You understand how important it is to, stock up inventory, right? So, what is the challenge with the preservation?
No, you see, preservation, that's what I said. There's a preservation can be done ready to cook.
Okay.
Even the processing companies now, you see, we are getting the food. Our Indian processing companies are not very creative with the people with the time, with the demand. They are making all are making the ready to eat food, which is not the right thing to do it. Today's demand is that people like to cook themselves. People have got that awareness that they like to do a little bit give their own touch to the food because it's very important. Like I believe myself. Just following slavishly the recipes blindly, the recipes, you never get a good food. A good food creates a good recipe to tell somebody, oh, this is the way the food is cooked. So you like to do it, give you more happiness. It gives you more confidence about the dish, the food you made it. So there is food processing companies or even in house you like to process the food and reserve it because for the emergency time you take it out, use it and all that. So those things you can do. It may be maybe like for example, you just boil the dal and freeze them and do the tadka the way you want it, the time you want, what kind of tadka you like to do it, you can do at the end. And it's a great, contribution or great effort to make a nice tadka to the dal at the time you want it. But dal is already boiled. If it is not boiled, then it takes long time, or it depends on which dal you cook and all that. It depends. So some processes you can do. You can brown onions. You can keep with you some masalas. You can, and these days even I'll say even the spices. You mix the spices nicely and all that. Put them into the small packets. Keep them in the fridge. They have a much better life. Their fragrance is much better. Even you can put like garam masala or some other spices which you like. You have to be creative in this. The water. It's called the cold decoction. You put them in the water, seal them, put it in the fridge. Use that water in cooking. It will be very aromatic, very spice. So you can do those kind of things. Even get more aroma and all that. So you spend less money and you spend more money on the other side. So you budget your food accordingly. So there are many things which you can do it. And it's a process, but it's a process ready to cook, easy to cook. Encourages to make it a little more delicate and tasty.
All right. Okay, sir. Sir, I just have one more question. So, when we talk about organic food, cooking with organic food, so the cost of an overall dish, maybe the cost of an overall, meal, will also change. And I want to know it from your side, how people and how, as a customer, I will able to, take it. Do I really want to eat a meal made up of organic vegetables or I don't? So you must have seen many customers who like it or who don't like it. So I would like you to share your experience with it.
You see, if if some percentage, 10-15% is more expensive, I
Hmm.
think you should accept it.
Hmm.
One is good things, because that is also said that the expensive is not, is cheaper,
Hmm.
because it has the other effects
Hmm.
which will reduce your visual expenses, might be reduced.
Hmm.
So one has to make the food, and it's not necessary. You see, that is what I'm saying. One has to cook and see. Like, suppose you are making a bhindi,
Hmm.
and you might need 1 tablespoon of ghee
Hmm.
or oil to cook
Hmm.
them. But if you're cooking the potatoes, you
Hmm.
might need 2 tablespoons. Now
Hmm.
that now in bhindi you saved it, in aloo you used it a little more. But
Hmm.
that, if that experience you have, or you experiment those things, you can equalize the budget little bit. Or then following some recipes, standard 2 tablespoon of ghee in 200
Hmm.
grams, 400 grams of vegetable, that won't work. So you have to understand the characteristic of each ingredient slowly. Even in our in our manuscripts of the Vedas, it's written there as the four essentials of cooking. The first is that you must understand the characteristic of the each ingredient.
Hmm.
You see, now you need to understand, not to give a commercial cooking like me, or to cook for the feed people, or to where I to see many things. You must
Hmm.
understand these things and study yourself, just for your own body or for your loved ones. Only understand the food that much. You need not to understand beyond that.
Hmm.
Because every that we understood now in the today's science, everyone has a different constitution. Everybody is different.
Hmm.
The same when we say unhealthy food, healthy food, there's nothing called unhealthy, healthy. A particular food can be healthy for you, unhealthy for me. But
Yeah, exactly,
I
exactly.
have to eliminate that thing in my system if it is not healthy for me. So one has to understand the characteristics of each ingredient. And once you understand that, you will see that you will start using the lesser ingredient in the cooking.
Hmm.
Because you understand, you are not putting just because you're following some recipe, or just putting for the sake of putting and making it complicated. You will find your cooking becomes much more simpler
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
with less
I get
ingredients,
it.
but it is tasty and makes you happy. And to whom you're serving also feel happy. That's the food. So food is need to be experienced, is to be, the food, like you cook, you should always analyze.
Hmm.
Even somebody said it's very good, but you can
Hmm.
still analyze that what improvement I can do. And when you cook the same thing, you should recall all the taste and the things you like to improve in that day. You recall them and correct in them. And then you will find it looks complicated, it's not complicated, it's very simple. And you find your cooking become much more simpler and better and affordable.
Very well said, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I think what you said is absolutely right because we are what we eat, like people
Yes,
say.
absolutely.
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 Thank you so much, sir. It was really,
Thank
really
you.
very nice to have you on panel today. And I would like to thank you on behalf of everyone, all the organizers, all the exhibitors, and everyone right here. Thank you so much for
Thank you very
giving out
much.
your
Thank you
precious
very
time.
much. Thank you
Thank you
very
so
much.
much, sir.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, okay. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen. So, this was Chef Manjeet Singh Gill, and after this, we'll be having exhibitors' presentation. So, I request you all to please join those sessions very soon, and I'll see you all there. And yes, again, I'm reminding all the exhibitors who are supposed to give presentations, please kindly click on the link sent on your email and will be joining you all in a common group session. Thank you.